Welcome to Skiing Safety Part 1. We're going to put these on YouTube this year to spare everybody the trouble of a safety meeting, but we do expect you to watch these videos, pay attention, and absorb the material. Especially parents, be sure that your kids have absorbed this material. You never want to ski or snowboard alone, even on a crowded mountain. Use the buddy system, and this includes grown-ups, even if your buddy is one of your kids. If you are injured, and especially if you are unconscious, you need to have somebody to tell the ski patrol who you are, who you're with, etc. Pardon me while I adjust the camera here for a little bit. There we go. Now, you need to ski with people of similar skill if at all possible. Do not get on that mountain above your level. If you're a green slope skier, you don't need to be on the blue squares. And if you're a blue square skier, you don't need to be on the black diamonds. That's where most injuries occur, is people trying to ski above their level. If there are two of you at a particular level, the more skilled person should ski above or after the lesser one, because the lesser one's more likely to need help. If you lose your buddy, if you're going down the mountain and your buddy falls above you, be sure to stay down at the bottom of that slope until your buddy comes down. And if your buddy doesn't come down in a reasonable period of time, then you may want to try to find somebody to help you find your buddy. But in general, wait a good 5-10 minutes. They'll get down the mountain, and if they're not, then you need to have the ski patrol go look for them. You need to watch out for those below. They have the right of way. You don't want to turn quickly without a glance behind you to be sure you're not cutting someone off. Never ski so fast that you cannot stop. This is one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when they're beginners, is they get going a little too fast and then they can't control themselves. Do observe all posted signs and warnings. Do not stop where you obstruct a trail or are not visible from above. Prior to using any of the ski lifts, you must have the knowledge and the ability to load, ride, and unload safely. It should be fairly obvious that small children who cannot reach the bars and get down safely without assistance should not be going up there with anybody but either an older child or adult who is skilled at helping them. You want to be sure when you're getting off the lifts to use kind of a forward tuck and go forward skiing. You don't want to stand up straight when you get off the lift chairs, or you'll be much more likely to fall. If you are with a group and you're waiting for your pals behind you, don't get in the way of those getting off the lifts. It'll be pretty obvious when you kind of ski down that there's an area over there to wait at the top of the slope for anybody that you want to catch up with you. Now, if there's snow blowers near the ski lifts, the chairs may be frozen over in very cold weather, so you need to watch out for ice and just be very cautious. You do want to relax and have fun, and don't get discouraged with your falls. They are a part of learning, and one of the first things you'll learn in your beginner lesson, if you're taking one, is how to get up after you've fallen. Now, if you've fallen and are so injured that you cannot get down the mountain, you need to have your buddy put your skis in an X above you to alert the ski patrol and the other skiers. Ask another skier to get the ski patrol, and if you're the buddy with an injured skier, stay with your buddy. This is why the more skilled skier should be above the lesser one, because, again, you're more likely to have to ski down and help them. You don't have to do this X thing if you're temporarily just catching your breath or you've fallen and you've got to assess things. It's only if you want the ski patrol to come get you that you have to use this X system. You, of course, need to keep off the closed trails and out of the closed areas. You'll get one warning from the ski patrol usually, and then your lift ticket is pulled if you're not being safe. I was skiing with my daughter Mary a year or two ago, and this lady on the green slopes obviously was a beginner, and she was barreling out of control and plowed into my daughter and just knocked her right down. And we were taking a semi-private lesson at the time. The instructor went over, pulled out a red Sharpie, and put an X on her lift ticket and explained to her that that X meant she'd been warned once, and if she was unsafe again, she was going to get pulled off the slopes for the day. So they do mean business as far as the safety. Now, when you're out there, you want to stay hydrated, because if you're thirsty, you're already behind on fluids. And muscles that don't have enough fluids are going to tire more easily, and you will more easily get dizzy if you're not well hydrated. So if you're thirsty, don't make that other run. You need to go in and have some fluids. Now, you also don't want to ski or snowboard when you are tired. This is when most injuries occur. Muscle burning and legs feeling heavy are definite signs that you need a rest. My brother-in-law Lee was skiing in Colorado once, and he went down a Black Diamond slope, and he had burning legs, and he really had to fight that mountain to maintain control. Well, he was not quite down the mountain yet, so he decided to ski down an easy green slope, which happened to be about 3 miles long. Well, his legs just quit listening to him, and he ended up plowing into a tree. Luckily, he had the good sense to fall before he hit the tree, so he didn't break his neck, but he did end up with a lacerated liver and some broken ribs, and he was in the ICU for several days. So enough said, do not ski when you're tired. We're going to review hypothermia in Part B, so I'll go on to the next slide and we'll review that later. Now, as far as equipment rental, we do highly recommend helmets. You want to keep your equipment slip with you and know the numbers of your skis so that you can find them when you're coming back out from the lodge. Once spent about half an hour searching for some skis because the number was not quite legible on my ticket, so you want to memorize that number of your skis. You also don't want to fool with your lift ticket. If you need it moved or if it seems to be having a problem, you want to ask the administration office to help you with that. You take off that lift ticket and you're done for the day. Your lift ticket must also be applied on an outer garment that you're going to have on all day so it will be visible to the lift personnel. Also, do not go snowboarding if you've never been skiing. You need to learn how to ski first because snowboarding is harder. A little bit of general housekeeping for the ski trip. You're on your own for meals, etc. You need to keep up with your own stuff, although we will have a parent in the lodge that'll kind of be watching people's stuff. You definitely don't want to be leaving money up at the lodge. You need to keep your wallet in your pockets and that sort of thing. Lockers will be available. They're not absolutely necessary, but if you do have valuables, I would recommend you investing 50 cents in a locker or however much it costs. Now, I plan on bringing an electric kettle if they'll allow us to use it. It depends on the lodge and it depends on where we're at, but most group areas will allow you to have coolers and that sort of thing. Now, you're going to need to sign your family out before you leave the mountains so we know you're leaving. There will be a form at the group area if I'm on the slopes or if your group organizer is on the slopes. There is an incident report form that we have to fill out for anything other than what I call Band-Aid injuries. This is strains, sprains. You need to see the safety lead on the trip to fill out the incident report form if one of the HG girls or adult registered members is injured. I also filled one out when my son was injured, but I didn't know if I needed to do that or not. So if anybody's injured, it's best we go ahead and fill out the report. It's better to need it rather than wish for it later. You don't want to forget sunscreen if the sun is shining, lip balm and eye protection. Snow blindness can occur in bright sunlight if your eyes are not adequately protected. Sunglasses with one of those little straps will do as well, but the goggles are much better. Now, for those staying at the church overnight before the ski trip, please do not have food or drinks anywhere but the kitchen, and clean up after yourself if you do use the kitchen. If you go and stay in a Sunday school room, take note of how you found the room before you move furniture so that you can leave things the way you found them in the morning. We need to clean up before leaving in the morning, and wake up times, breakfast, meeting times, etc. will all be sent out in the emails, and we'll go over that the night before. This ends training Part A, and you will need to complete Part B to have completed safety training.